Hey everyone, welcome back. I wanted to take some time to show you my huge physical TBR. I haven't even counted it yet, but when I do, I will put it on the screen. I just went to Barnes& and Noble. I say just, like it wasn't a month ago, but I did go to Barnes& and Noble. I got a bunch of books. Most of them I haven't actually read, which is a really big achievement for me because most of the time I only buy the books that I've already read because I don't want to buy books that I don't like. But these I really haven't read. I'm really excited to read them. But now, I just have so many books sitting on my shelf, and it's like now I can't buy any new books because I really want to make sure I read these. So I'm just going to show you guys what's going to be on my TBR in the next few months. So let's go. The first few books I'm currently reading, it's like 7 of them. I am reading 7 books at one time. That's just how I do things. So the first one is If We Are Villains. I started this one like 6 months ago. I got halfway through it, but then I couldn't finish it because I know that this book is going to hurt my feelings. And I just can't do it. I can't sign myself up for something so painful. But I saw someone talking about this book on TikTok and I have to finish it. So, I'm gonna start back from the beginning because I don't really remember what was going on, and I really want to be able to savor this book. But if you read this book, wish me happy thoughts. If you haven't read the book, the synopsis says, "Enter the players. There were 7 of us then, 7 bright young things with wide, precious futures ahead of us. Until that year, we saw no farther than the books in front of our faces. On the day Oliver Marks is released from jail, the man who put him there is waiting at the door. Detective Colburn wants to know the truth, and after 10 years, Oliver is finally ready to tell it. A decade ago, Oliver is one of 7 young Shakespearean actors at Delattre Classical Conservatory, a place of keen ambition and fierce competition. In this secluded world of firelight and leather-bound books, Oliver and his friends play the same roles on stage and off: hero, villain, tyrant, temptress, ingenue, etc. But in their 4th and final year, good-natured rivalries turn ugly, and on opening night, real violence invades the students' world of make-believe. In the morning, the 4th years find themselves facing their very own tragedy and their greatest acting challenge yet, convincing the police, each other, and themselves that they are innocent." So excited. I know a lot of people compare this to The Secret History, and I actually do have that book. The Secret History is also on my physical TBR. This book she's thick. She's like 550 pages or so. This one is also about it's like students, dark academia. I know this one's also about a murder. I mean, the first line is talking about the person that gets murdered. It's not really like a secret. It's a secret. But this synopsis says, "Under the influence of their charismatic classic professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at an elite New England college discover a way of thinking and living that is a world away from the humdrum existence of their contemporaries. But when they go beyond the boundaries of normal morality, they slip gradually from obsession to corruption and betrayal, and at last, inexorably, into evil." So these are kind of really similar books. I know this one's LGBT. I'm not sure about this one. If they both are, always happy to add some more to the collection. But I'm really happy and excited that I have these and to read them. I know both of them are going to hurt my feelings, but I'm ready for some more book brain rot. Who's not? So the next book that I'm currently reading that I got was Our Dark Duet. This is the Monsters of Verity's duology. I already read the first one, This Savage Song. I really liked it. I'm about, this is how much I've read, so I don't really have that much more left. I'm not really liking this one as much. It's a lot slower. I'm already on page 300 and nothing's happened. So, I just want to finish it because I really like the first book. But if this was a first in a series, I probably would have DNF'd it by now. It's not really my thing. There's 3 point of views in here. It's the main male character, the main female character, and then there's one of the villains has a point of view. I didn't need that. I don't like it. He's like kind of boring. He doesn't really have any nuance. I love V. Schwab because I really liked The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but I think I might be overestimating how much V. Schwab's writing would connect with me just because I really liked Addie LaRue, and I don't think I really liked this duology. I know a lot of people like Vicious, so after I finish this, I'll probably try Vicious, and if I don't like that, I'll probably just like be done with V.E. Schwab. This book, if you're interested in the duology, it's about, you know, the saying violence breeds monsters. It's about violence actually breeding monsters. There's a city split in two. Kate Harker is the daughter of Callum Harker, and he like leads one side of the city, and then August Flynn, he is the son of um he's the son of his dad. I can't remember his dad's name, but basically, it's two like warring sides of the city, but they're really like the larger antagonist of the story are like the monsters. It's a really cool concept. I loved the execution in the first book. I'm not loving this one so much, but when I do finish it, I really hope that I'm satisfied with the ending. The next book that I'm currently reading, and I say currently even though I've read one page of it, you know, I put my bookmark in there, so it's the same difference. It's The House on the Cerulean Sea. I know a lot of people love this book. It was a blind date with the book. I wasn't thinking that this was going to be House on the Cerulean Sea. It was described as found family, fantasy. V. Schwab blurbed it and said it was like being wrapped in a big gay blanket. So I was like, oh, it's going to be the Raven Cycle. And I was so excited because I really wanted to read that book, but it's not. It's this, obviously. He's a social worker in the book, and he's assigned to go up to like the island or wherever where the kids live in their social working house and their orphanage. And he has to determine whether or not these kids are capable of destroying the world or not. And he finds that they're actually not that bad. He ends up falling in love, not with one of the kids, with one of the adults who's of age that works there. But yeah, he ends up falling in love, realizing that those kids aren't so bad. And basically, it's like a story of found family, and he, I think, I haven't read it, is wanting to protect the kids and like kind of sees them as his own. And I heard it's like really funny and like comforting, and very excited that I have this book and to read it. The next book is People We Meet on Vacation. I did read Beach Read. I absolutely loved it. I'm 40 pages into this. I'm not loving it as much as I loved Beach Read. I did read Beach Read about a year ago, which is also by Emily Henry, if you didn't know. I don't know if when I read it a year ago, like if my reading style has just changed a lot. I am going to finish it just because I love Emily Henry so much, so I want to know if I love Beach Read or if I love like the way that she writes. So I'm really excited to finish this one. It's about two best friends, Poppy and Alex. They apparently like they're polar opposites. She's a wild child, he wears khakis. She loves to travel, he likes to stay home and read. They became best friends in college, and they live far apart. He lives in their hometown in Ohio, and she lives in New York City. But apparently every year for 10 years they've been taking a week of vacation together during the summer. But apparently something happened 2 years ago where they haven't spoken since. And Poppy, she ends up being in this rut because she just like has trouble finding her joy again. And so she realizes that she hasn't been happy since the last time she vacationed with Alex. So the story goes back and forth between their past vacations and their current vacations. And I'm sure it's gonna like line up to whatever happened 2 years ago. And we're gonna find that out. And I'm really excited to read this. I really want to know what happened because they're like, oh, like ever since that thing happened 2 years ago, like we haven't spoken, and I really want to know what happened. And pretty much, I like the characters so far. Neither of them are annoying, and I like that they're polar opposites. I feel like that works really well in romance books because your two love interests, they're not going to be like too alike, and I feel like that's good. This would have worked really well as a dual point of view book. I don't personally like those, but I think this would have done well with it, and I wouldn't have minded reading that. But yeah, I'm excited to see where this book ends up going. This book is so popular. This is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I know everybody knows about this book. Casey McQuiston. I read their other book, One Last Stop. I loved it. I know a lot of people actually don't really like it, but I personally really liked it, so that makes me want to read Red, White, and Royal Blue more. Basically, the two main characters, Alex and Henry. Alex is the son of the President of the United States, and Henry's like the son of the British monarch. So those two countries, those leaders' sons, it's like an enemies to lovers. I know that they end up falling in love, and apparently this book like goes heavy into politics, but apparently the romance is still really good, and I'm really excited to read this one because I loved One Last Stop. And I love the cover. The pink and the red and the blue and the white, it's doing it for me. I like it a lot. The next one, all of these are pretty much really popular. I kind of buy into that like popularity book talk fad. You know, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I've started it. I've started all of them. I've gotten 44 pages in. I'm gripped. I want to know. It's based on this girl. She's in high school. And like when she was a freshman or whatever, a murder happened and she doesn't think that the guy who like got convicted for it, she doesn't think that he did it. So essentially she's doing her senior project on the murder and she's like trying to solve it, and I want to know who did it because I agree with her. He did not do it, and if he did do it, there wouldn't be a book about it. So I'm so excited to finish this book up. It just kind of, it's a murder book, so it kind of makes me nervous to read, but so far it's really good. I'm really liking the main character, Pippa. She's good. She's giving the vibes. This book reminds me a lot of Truly Devious. It's pretty much also about a girl. She goes to a boarding school. A murder happened like 50 years ago, and like now she's trying to solve it. But they're both really good. I really like Truly Devious, so I'm excited to finish this one up. This is the last one that I'm currently reading, and then all the others I haven't started yet. This is The Gilded Wolves. Funny story about this book. So I actually read like 30 pages of it. I DNF'd it. But then when I started reading People We Meet on Vacation, I had the urge to DNF that. But then I was like, no, like I want to see what happens. Like I want to finish up the book. So now I'm going to pick this one back up. I love books that are intricately written, but then I don't like when they don't do that. Like, it's hard to explain. I'm definitely nitpicking, but I'm picking this one back up. Hopefully I like it because otherwise I would have wasted $11. And that could have been an overpriced latte. So, it's a group of found family. They're going on heist together. This guy's trying to get his inheritance back. It's like 1890s. It's in Paris. They're French, but the book's in English. And it's like about bringing down, like it's not like a government, but it's like an order of magic who's like holding all the magic hostage. So I really wanted to love it. I'm picking it back up. So hopefully I do end up really liking it because that was my hope. That's why I bought it. So we'll see, and I will keep you updated. This has been a really slow reading month for me. Has anyone else like had the same experience? Like it's been really hard for me to like pick up a book and like keep reading it. I feel like I've had so much other stuff going on outside of reading. I've only read 2 books so far this year, and my goal is 30 and more if possible. I don't know. I just haven't been feeling the reading vibes. Hopefully, like some of these out of these 7, I can figure something out and start reading more. The next book on my physical TBR is The Brothers Karamazov. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. It's either Karamazov, something. She's a thick girl. She's like 800 pages. I know it's like a Russian philosophy book disguised as being about like a family. It's a mystery, a courtroom drama, an exploration of erotic rivalry. There's love affairs. I know it's about Fyodor Karamazov, and he has 3 sons, Dmitry, Ivan, and Alyosha. Yeah, and basically it's a portrayal of Russian life. I heard it's really good. I'm really excited to read it. I might do a whole video, like a reading vlog that's just about this book, especially because I know there's like so much that happens. There better be. It's 800 pages long. And I'm excited to get into it. Danto reviewed by John Green. And you will never guess, it's autographed. It is autographed by the John Green. The cover is beautiful. I know this book, it's a collection of essays. It's nonfiction. I'm not a nonfiction reader, but I heard this actually appealed to a lot of people. It's basically like a John Green diary. Like, it's his inner thoughts about a lot of different things, just different human systems. I know there's an essay about Hank in here. I'm really, really excited to read it. I'm in love with the Green brothers. I love their dynamic. I love both of their books. I love their YouTube channel, Vlog Brothers. So I know I'm gonna love this book, and the fact that it's signed is even better. And I've had this book for a year and I haven't cracked it open, but I'm really wanting to prioritize my physical TBR over my digital one because I paid for these books and I want to read them first before I buy any new books. This one, if I don't do a video about the brothers Karamazov, I'm definitely doing one about this book. Priory of the Orange Tree. She's 900 pages. She is a thick girl. Like, she eats good. I have no idea what Samantha Shannon could possibly have to say for 900 pages, but I really want to find out. So I have never read the synopsis. I have no idea what it's about. It's like an old, pre-modern, there's like different kingdoms, queens, kings, something assassins. I can't pronounce any of these names, which is why I'm not going to read the synopsis. I know it's LGBT. It's WOW. Yeah, apparently the East and West are divided, so it's like a country at war or different factions at war. I'm not sure. There's a dragon on the cover. I have no idea what this is about. I'm going in completely blind. I've never heard a spoiler about this book. Everyone's been doing a really good job at keeping it under wraps, and for the most part, like, obviously there's some people who don't like it, but for the most part, I think people have said that this book is really, really... There's a leaf outside my window. People have said that this book is really, really good. So, get ready to watch a video of me reading this, because no way am I going to read this and not make a video out of it. A Tale of Two Worlds. This one I had never heard of before I went to Barnes & Noble, but I picked it up because it had like a little index card under it, and it was like, what happens to this girl whose name has a D in it when the letter D disappears? And I love books with that concept. I don't know if you guys have seen Yesterday, the movie, but basically it's like about if the Beatles never existed, and this guy starts like capitalizing off of their songs and whatnot, and I just thought it was a really good movie. And so it made me really excited to read a book with the concept. I've never read a book like that, and I think it'll be really interesting to see how she copes with life when the letter D doesn't exist and it's in her name. And it seems like it's going to be a really short read. So I'm interested in seeing like how the author handles the concept, and Neil Gaiman blurbed it and he said it was glorious. And I trust Neil Gaiman with my life. So it's gonna be a 5-star. I know it's gonna be a 5-star. So I haven't read a book this short in a really long time. And I feel like the short reads, they always say what they have to say and then they're done with it, which is really good. Then we have The Vanishing Stair. This is the second book to Truly Devious, the book I was talking about earlier that reminds me of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's a continuation of the girl who saw, well, she didn't see it. It was like 50 years ago. It was a murder at her school. She's trying to solve it, which is actually really hard to do considering she's not a cop. The murder isn't recent, so she's really digging up the clues. Pippa from Good Girl's Guide and Stevie in this book remind me a lot of each other. The books remind me a lot of each other. This one is definitely more dark academia, and I really enjoy both. This one, I got like 20 pages into it like a year ago. It was starting off kind of slow, but I mean, it's the first 20 pages. So I'm excited to finish it, finally. And I know there's a third book. There might be a fourth book. But I'm excited to see how the whole series like wraps up and who committed the murder. The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. It says, Evelyn Hardcastle will die every day until Aidan Bishop can identify her killer and break the cycle. But every time the day begins again, Aidan wakes up in the body of a different guest, and some of his hosts are more helpful than others. So I think it's kind of going to be like a dinner party murder vibes, and he's trying to like solve this woman's murder. Kind of reminds me of that one movie about the girl who kept like getting murdered on her birthday, and the day started over until she could like figure out who like was killing her. It reminds me a lot of this. I think it's gonna be really interesting. He's waking up like in different people's bodies, which I really think is cool. It's by Stuart Turton. The cover looks like a card. I don't know. It's really cool, and I'm super excited to get into it. Then Shadow and Bone. Everyone knows this book. It's a TV show on Netflix. If you haven't read the book, you've probably saw the TV show. If you haven't saw the TV show, you've probably read the book. I wanted to read it before I watched the show because I know a lot of people said this book makes way more sense if you read it before watching the show. And the main reason that I'm reading it is not because I heard that this series was very interesting. It's because I really want to read Six of Crows. But again, I did hear Six of Crows makes more sense if you have a better introduction to the fantastical universe. The synopsis says, orphaned and expendable, Alina Starkov is a soldier who knows she may not survive her first trek across the Shadowfold, a swath of unnatural darkness crawling with monsters. But when her regiment is attacked, Alina unleashes dormant magic not even she knew possessed. I have a friend, Danita, shout out if you're watching this. She really liked this book. I heard other people say it was slow, but if Danita loved it, then I will love it too. Hopefully. Aristotle and Dante dive into the waters of the world. This is the second book. I guess I'd say Aristotle and Dante is a duology. I read the first book, Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. It's LGBT. Basically, like, I'll just describe the first book so you don't get spoilers for this one. I did start it, I just didn't finish it. The first book is about these two best friends. They meet when they're a lot younger. They're friends like throughout the years. They grow up together. They go through like different hardships together. They're kind of figuring out life. They're discovering the secrets of the universe. I really love that book. It honestly changed my life. This one had mixed reviews. A lot of people didn't like it that much. I'm going to read it anyway for my own opinion, see what I think about it, and I will definitely let you guys know what I end up thinking about this book. Okay. And then these last 5, I'm not going to talk about them individually. They're all book of the month books. I am not a book of the month fan. I just kept forgetting to cancel my subscription, so they kept billing the money anyway, so now I have 5 books that I'm not even interested in reading. I did hear Love and Disasters is actually pretty good, so I'm probably going to read that one. These other 4, I'm really not interested in. I don't like book of the month. I think their options suck. So these, I just kind of have them like sitting on my shelf because they look pretty. Like, that's literally it. And this is my unread shelf, which is why it's completely empty. I took all the books down so I could do this video. The final book that I probably won't ever read is just Love Creekwood. It's I thought it was actually a book. It's just like a book of emails between the characters in the Love Simon series. I'm not gonna read this. But I think it's so cute to have it. I have all of the books in the Love Simon series. Basically, Love Simon is about this gay teen. He's in high school. He meets this guy online. They start emailing back and forth. And the book is about him like trying to find the guy and then them meeting and like falling in love. Then Beyond the Offbeat is a spinoff about one of his best friends figuring out her love life and her sexuality. And then The Upside of Unrequited is about one of the main characters' cousin. She's figuring out her love life, and her life is like a plus-size teen. And then this is like the final wrap-up of everything. It just like looks cute. The coloring's nice. It looks good on my shelf, so I like it. That is all 22 books on my physical TBR. If you sat through this whole thing with me, if we just had this little FaceTime chat together, I appreciate you so much. I hope that you maybe got to add a few new books to your TBR. Maybe we'll be reading some of these at the same time. If you want to follow my updated progress on my story graph, that'll be linked down below. I will definitely be including any of these books in my future wrap-up. If I end up DNFing any of them, I will do a video about that. I'm super excited for when I finish these. Obviously, finishing books is a bittersweet feeling, but I'm definitely excited to reach my 30 book goal and to make some future videos and read some new books. I think that's about it. If you want to keep up with me, follow me on my socials, link down below. I have pretty much all of them. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, TikTok. I'm obviously on YouTube. I really enjoyed making this video. I'm not sure how long it's gonna end up being, but this has been 30 minutes of me talking. My jaw's in pain, the sun's in my eyes. And I don't have anything else to say. So thanks for watching. Bye!